Just arrived. This is the Solo Stove Yukon smokeless fire pit that I bought, and so I want to show you what you get when you make this purchase, as well as show you how it works. You get instructions on how to use your Solo Stove. You get a very massive airflow deflection ring, and you get the stand for the Yukon. Since this is the Yukon 2.0, it comes with the removable ash pan. So this is the other part of the ash disposal system on the 2.0. This is the pan itself, so the ashes go through those holes, rest in here, and when everything's cool, you can just take this and dump it out. And this is the massive Solo Stove Yukon fire pit itself. The Yukon 2.0 has very little setup, but you do have to put the ash pan in at the bottom. Next thing you want to do is put in the base plate, and it may be confusing what direction to put this in. There is a little icon here, and you want to have that facing up, as well as this whole thing is domed, and you want to have that facing up. In terms of dimensions on this, I've seen it marketed as 27 inches, and as I measure it, I'm getting about 26.5, so maybe they're rounding up a little bit. And in terms of height off the ground, it's a little bit more than 15.5 inches. So this is a smokeless fire pit, so let me explain how it works. There's a couple of keys to making the smokeless feature work so well. One are these holes at the bottom. They draw in air, and then the air goes up the sides and gets heated, and then it comes out these holes at the top. And the air kind of shoots out the sides and actually burns up any smoke or debris that's there. And when you have the deflection ring on the top, it's actually even going to help push all of that more towards the middle. This being a smokeless fire pit doesn't mean it's 100% without smoke, because there's no fire pit that can actually do that. But what happens is that the smoke, it does get burned off, and whatever is left is pushed through the middle and shot up into the sky. And you're not having these big clouds of smoke bother anybody that's around the fire pit, and so your clothes don't smell like smoke. Now this is the Yukon, and it's much bigger here, so when you're getting the fire started, you're gonna see more smoke at the very beginning, because the whole thing hasn't gotten hot enough yet to create that smokeless action, where the air is being drawn in at the bottom, heated up, and then shooting out the sides. And so you do need more wood or combustibles inside of here, because it is a bigger fire pit. But once it's going, you're gonna have a really nice fire. Okay, so I have my wood in there now, as well as the starter pack, so I'm gonna put on this airflow direction ring. And as I light it, you're gonna see that there is gonna be some smoke at the very beginning, but as everything gets really hot and going, it's gonna have a really nice smokeless fire going. Here's a fun tip: if you wanna help jumpstart your fire, just get a leaf blower and blow some oxygen into there. Okay, so the fire is going now. I can feel a lot of the heat coming off of it, and it looks really nice. There is no smoke like shooting out the sides. There's not like a big cloud that you would be trying to avoid here. There is a little bit of smoke going through the middle, but that is by design. And this is just a great experience here, where you don't have to move around to avoid the smoke. And something like this is going to be able to accommodate a lot of people. So we're looking forward to having a lot of family around this fire pit. I don't know if you can tell here, but there is flames shooting out of those holes around the top. And that's because the air is being drawn in at the bottom, being heated up as it goes along the sidewall, and shooting out and helping to create that smokeless effect. So this listing comes with a stand to keep your Yukon off the ground and to protect the surface that it's on. And there are holes all the way around the ring to promote airflow, and more importantly, to keep the hot fire pit from touching the ground, so that heat is not going to transfer to the ground. So if you have it on a wood surface, for example, like a deck, you're going to be fine. So obviously the fire's died down here, but I wanted to show you something. You see all those little holes? That's where the ash falls through. And the holes don't need to be very big, because one of the big benefits of the fire pit like this is that it burns very efficiently. So everything in here, it gets so hot, it burns it all up and turns it into ash. And that ash can go right through these little holes, and then you can clean it out. This is the 2.0 version, where you can pull out the ash pit. But if you had the 1.0 version, you could just take the whole fire pit and dump it out. So if you're in the market for a stainless steel smokeless fire pit that's on the bigger side, you might want to consider picking up the Solo Stove Yukon smokeless fire pit.